Thank you to everyone in attendance today. I want to call this meeting to order, and it is 6:35.
And Oscar Salinas here.
Mary Hernandez present. Nereida Cantu present.
Claudia Ochoa present.
Alex Cantu present.
Espe Ochoa present.
Armin Garza present.
Dr. Science, I do declare a quorum.
Thank you, Ms. Ochoa. We'll all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item is the tax collector's report.
Also move.
I have a motion by Mr. Salinas,
Second.
second by Mr. Cantu. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Next item, approval of minutes.
Also move on items 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Salinas, a second by Mr. Cantu. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Next item, superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mrs. Ochoa. Good evening, everyone. Our first recognition is recognition of high school teachers Ileana Herrera and Manuel Rodriguez for earning a master's degree sponsored by La Jolla Independent School District in partnership with the Texas Graduate Center. And if I could have Mrs. Ochoa, School Board President, and Mr. Alex Cantu, Vice President, recognize these teachers. And Melinda Flores, our Executive Director for High Schools, will do the recognition.
Thank you, Dr. Science. Members of the board and members of our community, it is with great honor that today we are recognizing Ms. Ileana Herrera. Unfortunately, Mr. Manuel Rodriguez had a family commitment and is unable to be here. But we're very proud Ms. Ileana Herrera participated in the Washington University in St. Louis commencement on May the 17th and earned a master's degree in biology. Mr. Manuel Rodriguez participated in the Harvard University commencement in Massachusetts, and he earned a master's degree in mathematics for teaching. We're very proud of both of these instructors, and we look forward to the innovation and the instruction that they're going to bring to La Jolla ISD.
Where's Miss Herrera?
Thank you for the support.
Congratulations. For our next recognition, if I can have Ms. Espe Ochoa, School Board Secretary, Mr. Oscar Salinas, School Board Member, and Ms. Nereida Cantu, School Board Member, recognize our next staff. We have recognition of Jimmy Carter Early College High School on receiving the U.S. News and World Report Best High Schools in the state of Texas. Ms. Claudia Gomez Perez, please come up. The U.S. News Best High Schools rankings includes data on more than 23,000 public high schools in the 50 states and District of Columbia. More than 17,000 high schools were ranked on 6 factors, from performance on state assessments to how well students do in college. Congratulations, Jimmy Carter Early College High School and Mrs. Claudia Perez, principal. For our next recognition, if I can have Mr. Armin Garza and Mary Hernandez, school board members, do the recognition. And again, it is recognition of Jimmy Carter Early College High School on receiving the Great Schools 2019 College Success Award. Congratulations, Ms. Claudia Gomez Perez. The leading nonprofit provider of trusted school informations, which is Great Schools, has awarded Jimmy Carter Early College High School, one of the approximately 20% of eligible schools in Texas that won the College Success Award. Based on data available from each state, this award is given to award-winning high schools that have a successful track of graduating students who enroll in 2 or 4-year colleges. Congratulations, Jimmy Carter Early College High School.
Congratulations. Very proud of you.
Mrs. Ochoa, that concludes the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Dr. Sines. Next item, discussion items. Item number 1, discussion of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to and through Advising Challenge Grant.
Yes, good afternoon, Board of Trustees, community members. We are going to look at the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to and through Advising Challenge Grant. I am Miriam Reyes, and I am the School Counseling Director. This particular grant was awarded to our department this school year, 2018-2019. And the primary goals of the grant is to increase the FAFSA completion and make sure that our verifications are cleared, increase the immediate college enrollment and persistence of our students, and improve college matching. Those are the 3 goals of the grant. I'm not going to review this. I'm just going to tell you that our grant is right in line with the Texas 60 by 30 goals for the state of Texas. I'm also going to have this right here just gives you small information about the timeline of activities from the time that we received the grant, which was in May of 2018, to our May 2019 different activities. If we look at goal number 1, this is where we are currently for our completion rate. We look at FAFSA completions, and our district is well above the state completion rate. As of May 2019, the state was at 45%, and all of our high schools are beyond that. We have Jimmy Carter at 100%. The numbers are very small there. Make sure I get those correct for you. Okay, Jimmy Carter is at 100% completion rate. Juarez Lincoln at 84%, La Jolla High School at 85%, La Jolla Palmview High School at 91%, and Thelma Salinas Early College High School also at 100, well above the state rate. And district-wide, 87% of our graduating seniors in 2019 completed their financial aid applications. For goal number 2, as far as the grant is concerned, we are looking at immediate college enrollment after high school. So in looking at our data from the National Student Clearinghouse, we can see that we have data dating back to 2015. Before that, we really were not utilizing the National Student Clearinghouse, so I do not have clear data. But you can see that from 2015, we had 43% of our graduates enroll immediately in high school, and all the way to 2018, which were at 49%. We have had an increase of 6%. However, the goal of the grant is to be able to help us increase that particular goal, and we do have activities planned for that, and I'll mention those in a moment. You can see that was the district numbers. In this particular slide, I have the high schools immediate enrollment percentages. We do have Palmview High School that went in 2015 from 50% to 53% in 2018. La Jolla High School in 2018 was at 40%, and 2018 we're at 49%. Juarez Lincoln is at 36% in 2015, and in 2018 we are at 39%. We do have our early college high schools enrollment numbers, and Thelma Salinas in 2015 at 74%, and 78% in 2018, and Jimmy Carter, 59% in 2015 to 2018 at a 68%. When we are talking about goal numbers 2, the grant is also asking us to look at college persistence. So we have been looking at our data also through the National Student Clearinghouse, and we see that for the class of 2015, we had 790 kids enroll into college as freshmen. If we look at that in 2017, 2018, that number had decreased to 418 students pursuing their degree at the junior level. So our numbers do decrease, and the purpose of the grant is also to help us with that. We have information from the National Student Clearinghouse, and we're able to contact kids. We're able to look for them in the community and try to make sure that they are in school and continue their degree and see them through college. When we look at goal number 3 for the grant is asking us to do a better college match of the students. If we look at our data, this particular slide will show you that our class in 2017, the majority of our students, 51% of those went to South Texas College, and 34% went to the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley. So the majority of our students are staying in the Valley. Not to say that that is not a good thing, but it is asking us to make sure that we are doing a better fit for our kids, that our advising is in line, and that our top kids, we're able to advise them in the proper manner to be able to send them to maybe different universities or Tier 1 universities. Our implementation plan that we have submitted to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation includes activities to increase FAFSA, activities to increase our immediate enrollment, and college match. Okay? These are some of our district priorities from the counseling department as they relate to the grant activities. We want to make sure that we continue to build our counselor capacity at all levels. We are in the process of purchasing a new college readiness platform for the district that will make it easier for counselors to better advise students. We have asked the board to look into the possibility of hiring permanent college advisors for our high schools. We are looking to establish a partnership with STC and UTRGV to see if our college advisors are able to be housed at their campuses during the summer to reduce summer melt. We want to increase our college applications to Tier 1 universities. We want to increase enrollment and persistence with our students and make sure that they are college ready. We want to establish a parent academy for college readiness, especially for our elementary and our middle school parents. And we have been talking already for a year and so about a college cafe that will be able to provide college-going services for our students and our community. That is it for the To and Through Advising Challenge Grant. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to address those.
Any questions? No? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Diaz.
Thank you, Ms. Item number 2, discussion of the 86th legislative session.
Good evening, Board, Superintendent. My name is Gus Garcia. I'm with Shepherd Government Affairs. My partner, Obi Salinas, is here as well. We have a small presentation for you. So as many of you know, Shepherd Government Affairs is the lobbying firm for the district. When we started out this coming year, there was a number of issues that we're coming up, but Shepherd Government Affairs is a lobby and advocacy firm. Together, we have about 25 years of combined experience in government affairs. My partner is a former chief of staff. I'm a certified economic developer. We're clearly aware of some of the issues that are transpiring here in the community. Full-time services in Austin, lobbying, tracking bills, and also development. As you're aware, this year, one of the biggest issues facing schools across the state of Texas was school finance reform and property tax reform. It was an issue that we had talked about when we originally presented before you, and one of the issues we wanted to address was how we were going to prepare for the legislative session in the 86th session in the state of Texas. We were primarily concerned with not only school finance reform, but property tax reform, how the funding and the form of the funding would affect the school district. So as your lobbyist, we wanted to make sure that this area, specifically La Jolla ISD, was taken care of, or at least had a seat at the table. So those were the things we were tracking specifically. There was a number of bills that came out this year that the governor has not quite signed all those bills. There was approximately 1,478 bills that were sent to the governor. He's only signed about 478. So we're going to have a full final report on all the bills that affect the school district, whether they're funded or non-funded, so we can start talking about a strategy for those particular projects and to make sure that we're not missing anything when it comes to the school district being ready for those particular mandates. 3 bills in particular that came out during this session, as I mentioned, school finance reform, property tax, were probably the single largest issue of facing the state legislature and facing school districts across the state of Texas. Senate Bill 1133, House Bill 4275, and House Bill 4131 were offshoots from those bills regarding Robin Hood funding. As you may know, many schools across the state were concerned that monies coming from rich school districts were going to the poor school districts. So there was some senators and some House representatives that wanted to change some things. They were focused on this area in Title I schools or the poor areas, and Senate Bill 1133 and House Bill 4271 and 4131 were a direct result of that. When that came out, we informed the board, and we had all hands on deck. This administration, along with your staff, was very helpful. I know this was a tenuous time for the district. You know, we had a new superintendent, challenging, to say the least, to come to Austin, but we knew we had to approach those particular bills and how they were going to pass through the legislative session. We were very concerned about them because they would have a direct financial impact on the district, along with school finance reform, and how those were ultimately going to affect the district. So we were very concerned. We appreciate all the support we got from the school district, but there was a series of things that took place. Initially, as we presented to you, our focus was two-pronged. We went to the House Committee on Education. We physically went to each one of those members, gave them the information, told them our story, and then, of course, we met with the administration here, and we had a number of things that transpired. The bill, Senate Bill 1133, did pass the Senate. We were in direct communication with our senator, local senator, and also contacts in senator office and staff to how we could negotiate or at least circumvent or possibly modify the bill that was filed. Same time, we had some House bills that were going through. As you know, we were focused on the House as well as the House Education Committee with Dan Huberty's office. I think we'd come here and presented that at one point. We were also updating superintendent on how these bills were flowing through session. The way it went down is Senate bill did pass the Senate. The House bills did die in the House, but the Senate bill was continuing to move forward. It was initially because of some of the efforts by this board, by this administration, that slowed that bill down, but ultimately it did make its way to be ratified in the House. There was a final push at the 11th hour by Senator Betancourt. However, Dan Huberty, who was the chair, when it was brought before the final committee to go to the House floor to be voted on in local consent, he passed over it and decided not to vote on it, so it did not receive a vote, eventually failing. Now, there was a series of things that happened throughout that process that we'll be giving a final update on how that happened, but there was a number of things that took place. As we know, there was a number of publications that came out regarding the Aquatic Center. As you can see from here, I've identified a couple of them, but this was a significant challenge because there was a story being told that wasn't true, and they weren't getting all the information on this particular item. And I put a copy of this legislative update for you to review later if you want to go over it. Your staff, as well as superintendent, administration, sent us some information which we passed along to the senator's office, Senator Betancourt and his staff, several meetings with the House staff and the Education Committee on what exactly this was, that it wasn't simply the story that was coming out in publication. It was a very robust center that offered a lot of educational resources, provided issues for the community. We conveyed those things. We showed them exactly what it meant and what this was for the community. And we also met with staff and board. They gave us a lot of support. We met with your staff, and they gave us all of the data, the community input, and everything about the issue, which allowed us to support and address the issue at the state level. We established a goal, and we ended up achieving that goal. And the outcome was it saved the district time and a lot of money. Go into a little bit about that. But there was a significant investment by this district, and it was doing some great things for this community with that learning aquatic center. And those were the things that this administration, as well as your staff, conveyed to many people at the legislative session, because I don't think that whole story was conveyed to those members. As a result, you saw the 3 bills that were pushed. The data was all the programs, the UIL initiatives, the natatorium, tennis courts, planetarium, learning center, pool type, slides, competition, special needs, jobs being created. The community, what you're doing for the community as far as swimming lessons, lifeguard certification, therapy, accessibility, Red Cross, outdoor robotics, all these different things you see on the chart before you. And of course, the evidence this administration provided to the senators as well as the staff and the House members as far as what you were doing for this community, great things that were happening at that center. Those are the things that weren't conveyed to them, and we believe that had an issue or that had an impact on the final decision. There was a final push towards the end to make it. When we go through these issues, obviously we need your direction and we need your input. Phenomenal, by the way. It was the perfect information that was allowed and asked for by the senator's office as well as the others. We were able to get that information. But there's 3 types of approaches, which is the low profile, medium profile, and high profile. We went with the medium profile through continued negotiation with the senator's office on some modification to have a substitute bill filed by the senator, which that was the first prong on our approach, which that did work. There was a substituted bill that changed the way that this would be treated if it did go through. And then, of course, the second prong approach was through the House and through the House Education Committee. And these were the things that we talked about. We had delegation come up to Austin. We appreciate that. We also had your staff sending us information. Letters were sent describing exactly what this was and how this worked, as well as talking to the lobby and talking about House Bill 3 and making sure that proper funding was made available for the poor school districts, as well as Title I school districts, and how those would be mandated as well as funded. So us working with the lobby to make sure that you were not only provided with the necessary resources and finances to be able to support the school district, but also that La Jolla, as well as this district or in the area, was not left out as far as the funding mechanisms and the formula funding that was created. We feel like we made a lot of progress. We feel like we killed and part of the killing of the bills, the House bills, as well as the final dying of the Senate bill, which we feel had a significant impact on the district. As you know, we made a lot of inroads. There was a lot of infrastructure laid. We talked to a lot of the people that were for the bill. That was probably one of the biggest concerns, was who was for that Senate bill and who wasn't for it. And speaking to many of the legislators as well as staff in Austin, we have a good idea. We've been able to convey a message. We feel very strongly that infrastructure was laid, and we're able to return back and talk about those things. One of the issues, as you know, is that school finance reform is always going to be an issue for the state legislature. We feel that this bill isn't necessarily completely dead. It may be revisited or revived in the next legislative session, but we feel that there's some work to do as far as implementation on new laws going forward, making sure that this administration is continuing to provide that information and showing exactly what it is as far as the message and the marketing and what we're doing for the community, so that if there is legislation again that comes up, at least we're prepared for it, and we're educated the senators to know that this is something that is a positive for this community, and also preparing for how we're going to negotiate any terms that might come up with our local legislators, or Senator Betancourt, who is one of the more powerful senators in Austin, and making him understand that this is not something that is just a fly-by-night project, so that in the future we don't have this issue again. We want to prepare for the future with meeting with the administration. We also want to look at current programs. We're looking at possible program for loans for teachers, as well as for giving some things for teachers. We're vetting those as we speak. We want to provide recommendations as far as non-funded mandates or funded mandates, how we can find those monies for the district, and talk about action items and the seeds that have been planted. We've always talked about a 2-year plan. I feel like we were extremely successful, along with the administration, our local representatives, making sure that La Jolla Independent School District had a good session. We want to develop and utilize those relationships that are now in place. we feel like we're part of this team. We feel like we had an effective process this year in the legislative session. We feel like we know staff and some of the issues that are facing La Jolla Independent School District. We'd like to continue being part of that if you allow us. We certainly appreciate trusting us and giving us that opportunity. As again, it's about relationships, and we want to continue to advocate for those relationships and work on that infrastructure that we created. And with that, I'll close. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Mr. Garcia.
Any questions? Okay, moving on to discussion of the Board of Trustees operating procedures.
Discussion on this item will be in executive session.
Thank you, Dr. Science. Now for public comments. Do we have any public comments? Okay. Next item under contracts, we have Sharon Wells mathematics curriculum.
Also move.
Motion by Mr. Salinas, second by Ms. Ochoa. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 2, renewal agreement between La Jolla ISD and Luther College.
So move. I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Cantu, second by Mr. Salinas. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 3, renewal agreement between La Jolla ISD and Texas A&M University, Kingsville. Motion by Mr. Cantu, second by Mr. Salinas. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 5, 2019-2020 agreement between La Jolla ISD and EduGuide.
Who?
I'm sorry?
Number 4.
I am so sorry. Item number 4, I'm sorry. Approval of addendum contract with Ray and Wood Law Firm to provide legal services in developing and submitting audits of school districts' taxable value.
Also move.
Motion by Mr. Salinas,
Second.
second by Mr. Cantu. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 5, 2019-2020 agreement between La Jolla ISD and EduGuide. Motion by Ms. Ochoa, second by Mr. Cantu. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 6, Resolution 2019-04, TASRTS, Safe Routes to Schools.
So move.
Motion by Mr. Cantu, second by Mrs. Cantu. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 7, 403B, Third-Party Administrators Contract Renewal for 2019-2020.
So move.
Motion by Mr. Garza.
Second.
Second by Mr. Salinas. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 8, American Red Cross Authorized Provider License Agreement. Motion by Mr. Cantu, second by Mr. Garza. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 9, Interlocal Cooperation Agreement between La Jolla ISD and the County of Hidalgo.
Also move.
Motion by Mr. Salinas, second by Mr. Garza. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item 10, Memorandum of Understanding with Hidalgo County Juvenile Justice Alternative Education Program, Mandatory and Discretionary Expulsions. Motion by Mr.
I'll
Ochoa, second by Mr. Cantu. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item 11, Skyward Annual License Fee and Software Support. Motion by Mr. Cantu, second by Mr. Garza. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 12, System 44 Reading Program Software Yearly Contract between La Jolla ISD and Houghton Mifflin Harcourt for the 2019-2020 school year.
Also move.
Motion by Mr. Salinas,
Second.
second by Mr. Garza. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item 13, Action on Legal Services Contract with Flores and Munoz. And we will be discussing this in executive session. Do I need a motion for that?
Also move to take it into executive session.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Salinas,
Second.
second by Mr. Garza. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Next item under bids, number 1, renewal of self-funded employee insurance benefits plan. Includes third-party administrator, BPM services, PPO network services, utilization review, EAP program, stop-loss carrier, basic life, basic AD&D diabetic supply program, CSP 2017-63. Do I have a motion by?
So move.
Motion
I have
by
a
Mr.
motion
Cantu.
to bring this item into executive session as well.
I have a motion to move
I'll
into
second Mr. Lau.
executive session, second by Mr. Salinas. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 2, College and Career Readiness Leadership Camps for Migrant Department, CSP 2019-46. Motion by Ms. Ochoa, second by Mr. Cantu. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. Rejection of District-Wide Radio Communication System, CSP 2019-47.
Haven't we already done this, Doc? Or they come and this is, now we're not going out for the rejection?
Yeah, we had approved, we had come for the bids, but now we're rejecting the bids that came in.
Yes.
So do you need a second or you already have it?
I move.
I'll second Ms. Ochoa.
So I had a motion by Ms. Ochoa, second by Mr. Salinas. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item 4, procurement of technology equipment through Department of Information Resources, DIR contract.
Also move.
Motion by Mr. Salinas, second by Ms. Ochoa. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 5, renewal of student athletic insurance, CSP 2017-60. Motion by
I'll
Ms.
second.
Ochoa, second by Mr. Salinas. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 6, property and casualty insurance, CSP 2019-55.
So moved.
I'll second
Motion by
Ms.
Mrs. Cantu, second by Mr. Salinas. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 7, authorization of payment for on-site clinic services.
So move.
Motion by Mr. Garza, second by Ms. Ochoa. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 8, produce products, SOQ 2019-54. Have a motion by Ms. Ochoa,
Second.
second by Mrs. Cantu. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 9, point of sale systems and operations software suite for Child Nutrition Services Department.
So moved.
I have a motion
I'll second.
by Mrs. Cantu, second by Mr. Salinas. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 10, commercial kitchen equipment repair parts, supplies, and services. I have a motion by Ms. Ochoa,
Second.
second by Mrs. Cantu. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 11, portable building relocation services bid, 2019-50.
So
I have a motion by Mr. Cantu,
Second.
second by Mrs. Cantu. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 12, network cabling services, CSP 2019-48.
I have a motion to postpone the item and rebid.
I have a motion by Mr. Cantu to postpone the item and rebid. I had a second by Ms. Ochoa. All those in favor?
that was number 12?
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
All those opposed? I'm sorry, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 13, special education supplies and equipment, RFP 2019-49.
So move.
I'll
Motion
second.
by Mr. Garza, second by Mr. Salinas. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 14, professional development, CSP 2019-45.
Also move.
Motion by Mr. Salinas. Second by Ms. Ochoa. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. Next item under business and finance, number 1. Number 1, declare obsolete, damaged, scrap property a surplus property and authorize sale of surplus property items via public auction.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Ochoa, second by Mr. Cantu. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 2, application and certificate for payment of contractor's fee number 6 for La Jolla ISD HVAC replacement project at the Performing Arts Center.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Cantu, second by Mr. Salinas. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 3, under business and finance, application and certificate for final payment of contractor's fee number 7 for La Jolla ISD HVAC replacement project at the Performing Arts Center.
Also move.
Motion by Mr. Salinas.
Second.
Second by Mr. Garza. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 4, change order number 3 for La Jolla ISD HVAC replacement project at the Performing Arts Center.
Second.
A motion by Ms. Ochoa, second by Mr. Cantu. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 5, application and certificate for payment for contractor's fee number 1 for La Jolla ISD Juan Seguin Elementary Chiller Replacement Project.
Also move.
Motion by Mr. Salinas.
Second.
Second by Mr. Cantu. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 6, application for payment of engineering fees number 2 for La Jolla ISD Irene M. Garcia Middle School HVAC renovations project.
I'll second.
Motion by Ms. Ochoa, second by Mr. Salinas. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 7, application and certificate for payment of contractor's fee number 4 for La Jolla ISD Storage Facility Electrical Upgrade Project. Motion by Ms. Ochoa.
Second.
Second by Mr. Cantu. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 8, revised easement granted to Agua Special Utility District Corporation at Dr. Maria Palmira Mendiola Elementary School. I have a
Second.
motion by Ms. Ochoa, second by Mrs. Cantu. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 9, budget amendment 2019-05.
So move.
Motion by Ms. Ochoa, second by Mr. Salinas. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 10, TASA and TASB convention for school board members and the superintendent to attend in Dallas on September 20th through the 22nd, 2019.
So move.
So I have a motion by Mr. Salinas, second by Mr. Cantu. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 11, school breakfast program and national school lunch program transition from provision 2 to provision 4.
So move.
I'll second, Ms. Cantu.
I have a motion by Mrs. Cantu, second by Mr. Salinas. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Next item under instruction and student services. Item number 1, ratification of extended student travel for La Jolla Palmview High School girl golf team to attend the state tournament in Georgetown, Texas on May 11th through the 14th.
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion, items 1 through
11.
11.
Wait. On number 10 with the wellness
On
plan.
number 10, yes,
Then I'll make my motion up to number 9, and we
Okay.
pick up from there.
So I have a motion for items 1 through 9
Second.
under instruction and student services by Mr. Salinas, second by Mr. Cantu. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? And the motion
It's
carries.
good to know that our kids are still traveling.
Travel.
even in
That's
summer.
good, yeah.
So item number 10, approval of La Jolla ISD Wellness Plan.
We'd like to postpone the wellness plan. We need to do some more work on it.
Okay, so we need to postpone.
Yeah, I also move on the recommendation by.
I have a motion by Mr. Salinas.
Second.
Second by Ms. Ochoa. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? And the motion carries. Item 11, ratification FY 2019 COPS Office Stop School Violence Prevention Program.
Also move.
Motion by Mr. Salinas, second by Ms. Ochoa. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Next items under Human Resources, and item number 1. Yes.
so move to approve under HR item 22.
So I have a motion by Ms. Ochoa to approve items 1 and 2 under Human Resources.
I'll second. Ms.
Second
Ochoa.
by Mr. Salinas. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? And the motion carries. And at this time, it is 7:14. I want to call this meeting into executive session under Texas Government Code 551071, 551072, and 551074. It is 8:41, and we are out of executive session.
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion under letter H, items 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, as discussed in executive session.
So I have a motion by Mr. Salinas to approve items 1 through 15 as discussed in executive session.
Second.
Second by Mr. Garza. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries. Now, can I have a motion for adjournment?
No. You gotta go
wait,
back
I'm sorry.
to.
Oh, wait a minute.
Number 13.
So,
Didn't hear you, Jerry.
So item number 13, under,
Also move.
Second.
so I have a motion by Mr. Salinas, a second by Mr. Cantu. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
And then you also have B1, if I'm not mistaken.
And under bids, item number 1. Do you need me to read it again?
No,
So
Are we going on your
recommendation,
recommendation, or
or was,
are you reading the motion, or are we just so move? Or
The recommendation on that item, is it written? The staff recommends approval.
so I have a motion do I need a motion for
so
approval?
move.
I have a motion by Mr. Cantu,
Second.
a second by Mrs. Cantu. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. So now I need a motion to adjourn the
I had
meeting.
already done it. So move.
Okay, a motion by Mr. Salinas.
Second.
Second by Mr. Cantu. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? So meeting adjourned at 8:43.